Yo. Yo, hello guys and welcome back to my channel. You don't know me, my name is Federico, but you can call me Peanuts, and welcome back to my channel, guys. So, tonight, we're gonna keep playing that visual novel that we used to play, like, we played, like, since our last live streams. And we're gonna finish it, and eventually I don't know if we're gonna start a new one. I have some visual novels on my card of Steam. There's this one called something no, it's not on sale anymore. It was like $2, now it's $20 again. No. And yeah, I'm gonna search up new stuff, so I guess at this point, because the sales of Steam are not sailing anymore. Apparently. What other visual novel have you played? Off camera, I played lots of visual novels, either safe for work and not. Here in the channel, of course, I played only safe for work ones, even though I wanna bring another visual novel that is technically not like that, but I'm gonna censor it eventually just for the quote-unquote meme. It's called, I mean, it's a demo for a visual novel that is coming out, I believe, this year. It's called the Joke Studio or something like that, I don't know. But the full version is gonna be on my Patreon. Yeah. Oh my god. Which I still have to open. Then I also played another visual novel with other anthropomorphic characters called The Tree About You, which is basically follows this wolf. And my power just went out. Oof. I was saying this wolf, and we can date some other animals. We can, not animals, other folks. Yeah. There's like if I remember correctly, a hyena, a tiger, a goat, which is really fine, I won't be lying. But also the hyena. No, it's not a hyena. I don't remember what kind of animal he was. But it was the freaky one. I don't remember honestly. But yeah, it was a freaky one. Instead, the tiger is uh, the dead one, we can say. But yeah, I have some gameplays on my some VODs where we played it here in the channel. If you haven't played it, I recommend Remember the Flowers. As far as I remember, it's fully safe for work. Let me actually screenshot your comment so that I remember that. Thank you. Remember the Flowers. Okay, I'll check out if it's on what's it called on itch.io or Steam. But yeah, tonight we're gonna be playing this one. We're gonna finish the Shoe Legend. Actually, I have to also finish Days of Vesperia. And also we have to start Resident Evil 4. But yeah, I have to download actually Resident Evil 4. So that at least we can play then Resident Evil 7, because the 5 and the 6 we're gonna skip them because they are trash in my opinion. I'm sorry, not sorry, but I don't like. I really like Resident Evil 5 because of Chris. That's all. Anyway, let me drink because it's pretty hot in here, even though it rained. Okay. Anyway, let me actually open the game. Okay. Actually, we also have to. I mean, I wanted to play Half-Life with y'all, but I don't know, honestly. Either Half-Life or Portal 2. I don't know. Though the last time that I played those games, I had my chat, not to say full because I don't want to be dramatic, but there were some people that were kind of toxic. I mean, I can block them, of course. I can report them eventually. I mean, I also have my my folks that, I mean, what's it called? My moderators that block it, but you know, for my mental health, we can say that it's not ideal. I don't know why, honestly, they do those stuffs to some kind of games, so we can say, you know what I mean. I mean, of course, I'm fine. I mean, I always laugh when someone tries to insult me, but anyway, let's dive in the game, shall we? Because honestly, at the end of the day, haters gonna, like someone would say, like a singer said, haters gonna hate, and I'm just gonna shake. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, we were like exploring the backstory of a coyote. Was that a coyote? Yeah, I don't remember honestly because I didn't learn the phrase, the names. I'm sorry, but if I remember correctly, they were like he's a coyote. Yeah. Anyway, he has a backstory that is really sad. Basically got abandoned. He grew up alone because usually coyotes are slim, but instead he's really buff, muscular, yada yada. So it was discriminated during his childhood, you can say. Then it happened like this war and this thunderstorm, we can say, something like that. It's basically an apocalypse, we can say. So it's basically the post-apocalyptic environment that got described previously. But anyway, I ran blindly out alongside the fleeing crowd, burning the embers and flying splinters from the flames. Words and cruel laughter filled my ears. The helplessness I felt was sharper than the despair and the fever-ridden shelter, colder than every beating the villagers had been giving me. I ran for my life as fast as I could, as if feeling quickly enough. Well, let me read it exactly. Take it off. As if feeling quickly enough would let me escape this leveler. In a panic, I tripped over a corpse lying on the road and fell heavily on the ground. My knee slammed against a sharp stone, bleeding instantly, the pain making my whole body twitch. I don't know, I noticed a pattern, but I don't know why they always mention blood. But I don't know, honestly. I mean, I understand that it's apocalyptic and type shit, but like, please, not so much blood. Like, I understand that it's apocalyptic, but not that much. In my panic, I tripped over a corpse like the road and fell heavily to the ground. My knees slammed against a sharp stone, bleeding instantly, the pain making my whole body twitch. I struggled to get up. Rough shouts from the bandits came from behind me. A cold blade pressed against my back, sharp enough to pierce through my flesh with one more push. Run! Run, you big oaf, why stop? The bandit voice dripped with mockery, pressing the blade deeper. Coyote Clan whelps really are wordless. Not us, apparently. Like lambs and to the slaughter. Not even strong enough to fight back. I noticed that they do lots of similarities. Like they use lots of so it was flying like blah 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 yada yada. I don't know why. Maybe it's a style of description. Yep. I turned slowly and saw the bandits surrounding me. 3 of them, all armed with blades and guns, their faces stained with blood and dust, their eyes filled with killing intent. They cornered me against a broken wall in the village edge. A crumbling remnant barely left standing. After the last bombardment, behind me a thatched shed blazed fiercely. Flames lapped on the wall like with crackling sounds. A scorching heat seared my cheeks, and thick smoke stung my eyes until the tears streamed down. Bandits with blades and guns blocked my path forward, and a wall of fire blazed behind me. Trapped with nowhere to run, true despair coiled around my throat like an invisible net, making every breath a struggle. Just then, one bandit grew impatient, raising his long blade and swinging it straight for my head. The blade whistled through the air, and the shadow of the death fell over me in an instant. My mind went blank for a moment. There were no fear, no despair, only a lifetime of pent-up rage, erupting like a slumbering volcano. The grievance of being treated differently, the bitterness, of being cast out by the village, the humiliation of scraping by loneliness, all these emotions ignited the moment death loomed near. The fury burned away all my reason. Driven purely by instinct, I dodged sharply to the side. The long blade crashed against the broken wall, sending shreds of stone flying. Before the bandit could react, I ignored the searing pain in my knee and the wound in my back, lunging forward to warp my hand tightly around his thighs. With all my strength, I sank my teeth fiercely into his calf. The crunch of tearing flesh was unmistakable. That's crazy. Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of... honestly, I don't like the fact that there's a lot of gore. Okay, gore, you know what I mean? That is really... it depicts a lot of gore. I don't really enjoy this, honestly. Warm blood flooded my mouth, bitter and salty, yet it acted like a stimulant, driving me further into frenzy. The bandit let out a blood-curdling scream, swinging his blade to strike me, but I beat down harder, letting me the blade slice into my back without flinching. Agony surged through me, but I dragged his aim straight off his horse. I snapped his cervical spine. That's crazy. Cleanly with one bite. It all happened in one blink of an eye, leaving his fellow bandits frozen in shock. While while the others were stunned, I let go, snatched the long blade from his hand, and rose unsteadily to my feet, before steadying myself. My back burned in pain, and blood from my knee streamed down my calf, dripping onto the pale stone and blooming into dark crimson splotches. Wait. This freak is called mad! One bandit roared, raising his gun and pulling the trigger on me. A gunshot rang out. The bullet grazed my shoulder, sending up a spray of blood, and searing pain spread through me at once. Yeah, like you see that there's a lot of gore. Like I'll try my best to find another visual novel. I mean, it's not that I'm not enjoying the story, but it's too much. There's too much description sometimes. So the next visual novel that I'm gonna search up, it's gonna be a bit more calm. We can say maybe a lovely visual novel where, like, I don't know, enemies to lovers or something like that. I don't know. My shoulder felt as if it had been torn open. I stumbled back a step, but did not fall. The pain did not break me. Instead, it unleashed the ferocity deep in my bones. My eyes had nothing but a killing intent. A raw urge to tear everything apart. Ignoring, didn't seem next for sure. There's one that I wanna do. It's called Dream Daddy, a dead dating simulator or something like that. That is really awesome. There's this one, the ginger one, that is chubby, the chubby dad. Basically, I wanna date him. Honestly, he's gonna be the first one that we're gonna date. Trust me, y'all. But yeah, I think I'm gonna buy that one. Honestly, it's pretty wholesome. That's a game I've seen from what I've seen. Anyway, let's continue. Ignoring the agony in my shoulder, I charged forward with surprising speed. My normally clumsy frame moved with unexpected agility. Before the gunman could reload, I was upon him. I swung the long blade and struck his wrist with pinpoint precision. The gun clattered to the ground as blood gushed. Gushed? Yeah, from his wounded wrist. He screamed and staggered back. I gave him no chance to react. Stepping forward, I drove the long blade straight through his chest. Warm blood, yeah, I'll skip the part of the blood, please, I'm sick of it. Sorry, guys. I bent down and picked up the gun from the ground. The cold metal felt foreign in my grasp, yet strangely familiar at the same time. I had never fired a gun in my life, and never even held one before, yet in this moment I did not hesitate at all. I gripped the gun firmly, aimed it to the remaining two bandits, and pulled the trigger without a second thought. Wow, Fortnite sound be like. Bang bang into the room. Two gunshots rang out. Bullets struck their chest dead on. They fell to the ground before they could even react. Their bodies twitched a few times before falling still forever. The gunshot echoed across the empty village, drowning out the crackle of flames and the last lingering cries of sorrow. The moment I lay down... they lay dead, sorry. I stood rooted to the spot, covered in blood, breathing heavily, my own ragged grasp ringing in my ear. An unnatural silence fell all around, leaving only the roar of fire and the pounding of my own heartbeat. The feeling was strange. There was no fear, no guilt, only an unprecedented sense of release. The catharsis of unleashing a lifetime of suppressed emotions. All my life I had scraped, by begging for scraps in a village, walking on eggshell beneath my lunch fork, called indifference. And yeah, the next visual novel is gonna have an easier English. Not that I don't understand, okay, but it's that I stutter a lot, you know, so I want something that is a bit smooth. Even those hollow village unsaid felt like an inescapable nightmare, and now at last I had woken up. Yet this clarity brought me to peace. Instead, he rekindled the fury in my heart, boiling my blood into a frenzy. I ragged my years of humiliation, at all the wrong I had endured, at the village's endless coldness. I raged at the bandits' cruelty, at how they trampled the leaves without mercy, and burned only on my head. I even raged at how easily they fell, fears that my years of pent-up anger had burned itself out in mere minutes. Unspent rage churned inside me, like molten magma with nowhere to go. I threaded my grip in the pistol and kept pulling the trigger, firing again and again into the bandits' corpses. Bang, 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 bang. Burn. Burn. Are you happy, Ben? Yes. Gunshots rang out one after another. Bullets tore into their bodies, spraying... oh my god, I don't want to read that. It's okay, deep breaths. Burn. Still my fear did not fade. I tossed aside the pistol, gripped my long blade, and hacked savagely into the bandits' remains. Slash after slash, I severed all their hands. Oh, by the way, I haven't seen your artwork cube in the channel. Maybe you forgot to upload it. I severed all their hands, which rolled into the pool of blood, mangled beyond recognition. I stood amid at the sea of blood, my entire body soaked in crimson. Oh, I don't want to read that. The raw years of satisfaction coursed through every inch of my body along with my blood. What is this obsession with love? Not love, what did I even say? Blood. What is this obsession with blood? Like, what the fuck? I tried to do that cool coffee Oh, I like it. Let me tell you, it isn't as easy as they make it seem. I can imagine that, yeah. Whether from bloodshot eyes of the blood spread across my face, a whole world looked ragged at night. Red flames, red blood, red earth. Even the sky blushed an eerie dark red, as if I stood within a living hell on earth. Oh, you have to redo it? Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, it's gonna come out better than previously. Trust me. And by the way, I'm still waiting for your dinner. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. It's gonna come out better. By the way, we're still organizing your dinner with my persona. Even the sky blushed an eerie dark red, as if I stood within a living hell of earth. The burning village still crackled endlessly, thick smoke billowing toward the sky. After what felt like ages, faint footsteps echoed in the distance, the surviving villagers. They approached cautiously, clutching sticks and stones, their faces etched with terror and confusion, but at the sight before them, everyone froze in their tracks. A dense crowd stood in utter silence. Even their breathing was audible, not the platform for audiobooks. only the crackle, only the crackle of burning flames cut sharply through the hush. All their eyes locked onto me at once. I stood in the middle of the pool, all blood, of blood, blood. Stop with this, please. Oh my god. Guys, you guys probably figured it out that I don't like the fact that they mentioned a lot this gory stuff. So there was no gratitude, no sympathy in the eyes, only raw, unbridled fear. Their fear pricked my heart like a needle. It was like as if this disaster had not been brought by bandits, but my own hand. No one dared draw near. They avoided my gaze, their faces filled with terror. Time ticked by, the silence stretching on. I stared quietly at these familiar villagers. Watching the fear on the faces, my heart turned cold. The feeling of being cast out and despised, washed over me for once more, exactly as it had in my childhood. Yeah, exactly. Like, gore is okay when you don't spam it, okay? So you say, yeah, there was this war, there was a lot of blood, and yada yada. But you say it one time, maybe 2 times. But if you say it every freaking phrase like in this game, then no, it's enough for me. Like, bro, please. Like, I understand getting into the story, but it's a bit too much. Not even in a movie, it's like this. Like, what the hell? Alas, someone in the crowd moved. A thin villager was the first to pick up a stone and hurl it at me. The villager probably has the sound of like, huh. Remember to give him emeralds. The stone was light and feeble, barely grazing my arm without hurting me. But when I looked over, I saw it was a very man who had once given me a piece of melted sugar. The last flicker of emotion in my heart faded away completely. It felt as though I was back in that stuffy, full underground shelter, but I was no longer but I no longer wished to remain the lonely 50-week child. Oh, no, I don't know the reference, I'm sorry, but I trust you. I was fully awake now, realizing with clarity that I could no longer stay here. This place craved peace, and I did not belong. Those burned in such tranquil lands perished once they left. Perhaps it was time for me to venture out and see for myself. I felt no anger, made no retort, and did not glance at them again. I suddenly dropped my blade, turned around, and walked step by step out in the village. It was the first time I left my hometown, the first time I stepped out of the wasteland that confined me for my life. Half-life mentioned. I walked onward, the white stone beneath my feet stained red. Wait, guess what, guys? Blood, of course. behind me lay the burning village. The villagers sent stairs, and the endless coldness and fear I had endured since childhood. It probably stole the wheat and the chests. I get it. Always happens to me in Minecraft. It was my first departure from home. I walked under the Lee. I don't know what that is. Without once looking back. as if everything behind me was nothing more than a long-ended nightmare. A nightmare that not worth clinging to for a moment. Okay, we're finally in the present. Like, I don't know how much it lasted this flashback, but we're back. Oh my god. The fragmented flashback faded and reality blurred back into the view. Only then did I realize I was shedding tears. I don't see tears on you, bro. It was not up from pain. Those long forgotten memories prick at me like a thorn, raw and uncomfortable. I shook my head, striving, sorry, I think, because of Guilty Gear Strive, I guess. And because of the pronunciation, I don't know, to stay lucid. I kept gazing at the deer in the distance and murmured weakly, "Dear, say something, I'm feeling lonely." Oh, it's so sweet. The deer gave no reply. Yet its soft white fur, it's not white, it's brownish. Yeah. Yet its soft white fur glowed faintly in the dark night. Perhaps I was really dying. Memories drifted uncontrollably through my mind. I tried to grasp hold for reality, yet all I could do was to drip of water echoing from the hollow ceiling. The echo reminded me of military buggles. War broke out here, and conscription troops came to the edge of the Westerland. Without hesitation, I signed up. Have you ever played The Walking Dead? I watched some episodes of the TV series, but I never played The Walking Dead because it's wait, Walkind? It's not misspelled? I don't think that's misspelled. If it's not misspelled, no, I never played that. I mean, I watched some episodes of The Walking Dead though. The day I put on my military uniform, I glanced back towards the village with only one thought in my heart. I would never return. Oh, you misspelled? Oh no, don't worry then. Then I never played the games. I only watched some episode of the TV series, yeah. Life in the army was tougher than surviving in the Westerland, more suffocating than being shunned, don't know what that means, by my own clansfolk. Yet I remembered it wiggly. Here, no one feared me. For my large, clumsy frame, yeah, I can tell, look at them, they're also, you know, big. No one saw me as a burden for being different. In the army, a man was judged by his strength and courage. Before dawn broke each day, the military bugle tore through the quiet daybreak. Alongside the other soldiers, I marched across the sun, searched the Gobi, whatever that means, with a cold rifle slung over my shoulder. Sweat streamed on another flashback. You're telling me? Oh my god! Sweat streamed down my cheeks, soaring my coarse uniform and leaving crusts of white salt on my skin. Fortunately, there's no blood. The sand beneath my feet blazed out, every step like treading on embers. The rifle rubbed my shoulder, raw and blistered, breaking and healing again and again, until tough clues formed. During Bayonetta mentioned training, I practiced slashing and sharing too, I guess, stabbing and tearing open the world with a wooden rifle. Every guy in a Fury VN is buff as heck for no reason. Yeah. I mean, it's a style that is called Bara. I even have a PFP that is getting made by this talented artist, and it has the same art style basically, but it's a bit more friendly, we can say, than this ones. Okay, because of the environment. This one's it's not really friendly, but mine is friendly. Trust me. My arms grew too sore to lift, going numb and trembling at the fingertips. Yet I refused to stop. I flared if I paused. I would fall back into those days of being cast aside and scraping by. Sometimes veteran soldiers beat and kicked me for being slow and clumsy. The belt seared my skin, and blows to the head into my ears ringing. Choke on blueberry. What did I even say wrong? I don't know. But I never flinched or cried. I endured it all in silence. Then trained even harder. Like when you choke, I always get that I said something that is sus or wrong or something. I don't know. It's like a notification. Yeah. Okay. Sorry then. It was strange to wonder what made the oppression of the village different from that time of the army. Why did the hardship not ignite my rage? It only lingered on the surface. I did not know, nor did I dwell on it. Perhaps I simply feared being ignored and treated as an outcast once more. He has a lot of issues. I can tell he has a lot of issues. A turning point came during a physical fitness assessment when cross-country marching with heavy machine guns. Our soldiers grew breathlessly and gave up after barely half a mile. Only I, relying on my immense strength, bro is literally bro knows he's strong and he's not really humble apparently about it. Carried the heaviest machine steadily on the way to the finish, even finishing 15 minutes ahead of schedule. During end-to-end combat training, let me guess, you were the one that always won. A tall veteran picked on me, throwing punches and kicks. Pushed beyond endurance, I threw a punch purely on instinct. The veteran collapsed on the ground and knocked out cold in an instant. Told you guys. He's so humble. Sure. It was on that day that the captain took notice of me. The captain was a tall, upright wolfkin whose chest was covered in medals. Each medal bore the mark of battle, glittering with a cold, brilliant light. Clapped my shoulder with a hearty laugh. It shrank literally enough to bruise my bones. How should I read this? Maybe deep voice. You blockhead. You look slow-witted, but you've got a real talent. His eyes hold no disdain, no contempt, only recognition and praise. Train hard, you fool. When the war ends, we'll be able to be heroes, and you've truly got the best of times. Hello, Nico. Nice seeing you here again. I don't think that was supposed to be. Oh no, it's not. It's the captain again. By then, no one will dare to look on you. We'll live with dignity, with our homes and our own lives. It's a mix. Actually, if I think about it, it's a mix of Metal Gear Solid, of course, Fallout, and yeah, maybe. No, just Fallout and Metal Gear. I don't know why. I have this feeling. Yeah. Oh, you're just checking. Don't worry. In that moment, staring at the captain's medal and the lights in my eyes, a fire ignited in my heart. Don't worry, I remember that you exist, Nico. And yes, the heat is also killing me. But now here it's chill here. No one had ever acknowledged me for this before. No one had ever told me I could be a hero, that I could earn other respect. The captain's words took root in my heart like a seed. I believed that this was the future I hoped to look forward to. The future I would give everything to build. I began training even harder, no matter the injuries or the exhaustions. The thoughts of the failure the captain spoke of filled me with endless strength. Lying in the bed at night with my eyes closed, my mind was filled with visions of life after the war. No mockery, no cold indifference, only peaceful days and the dignity of being acknowledged. Honestly, guys, it's not to point the finger at, but some phrases just look too AI generated. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I kinda noticed the AI generated pattern. Maybe it's the how they write. I don't know, but I don't know if you guys also noticed that. Anyway. Just thinking about it put a smile on my face, even in my dreams. I followed the captain to the forest battlefield time and again. Gunfire and explosions were no longer omens of death, but turned into a rhyme like a battle hymen. See, for example, this phrase kinda looks AI generated. It's not to point the finger, maybe I'm wrong, okay? But, I don't know. The blood of fallen enemies and comrades alike flowed, yeah, a living river, a sight that stirred something deep within me. So stirring, so vividly. It was an unexpected something feeling, as if bloodshed had nothing to do with death, nothing to do with life itself. When I was buried under rubble from an explosion, it feels like the English translation is AI generated. You're right. Might be. I don't know. When I was buried under the rubble from the explosions, hanging between life and death, I faced my predicament with fearless calm. That's why I kinda struggle reading it, because it has some complicated terms that I myself don't even understand, honestly. I knew I was not alone in the state of mind. My comrades and the captain were the same, and they would fight relentlessly, to save me. Then they would help me stand and fight out with resolve. In that moment, I truly felt as if I had found a home. It was not a place, but a feeling, a sense of belonging. The captain seemed endless in the spirit of back then. After every battle, even with smoke and blood still clinging on him, he would pull me to sit beside the trench, gaze at the literally strained horizon, and paint a vivid picture of life after the war. It's a fool. Once this damn war ends, I'm going back to my hometown in the south. He wiped the dust from his face, with his sleeve, longing shining in his eyes. There's a river where I'm from. Its water so clear, you can see the stones at the bottom. Fruit trees line the banks, blowing all over every spring. When the wind blows, my hometown feels like I feel like it's this. There's no quotation, but it's the guy, so it's probably like when the wind blows, my hometown feels like stone, like lines from a poet's song, and I'll find a beautiful girl to be my wife. I want a warm life my father once dreamed of, building and cherishing a happy family. After that, I'll never touch a gun again. I'll stay with my wife and children and live quiet, peaceful life. Oh, I think it's gonna go bad. Sorry. I spoke with great enthusiasm, raising the shape of a house in the air, as if he could already see the peaceful life before his eyes. I sat there listening, filled with envy and sorrow. I could only smile foolishly beside him, swallowing back with the words on my tongue. By the way, you fool. The captain suddenly turned to me and patted my arm. Where is your hometown? Where will we go once the war is over? My smile frozen once, and I clenched the dirt beneath me unconsciously. Hometown? It was a distant, cold word. To me, it was the underground shelter, the village where no one drew near, a place I'd fought hard to escape and never wished to return to. I avoided his gaze, staring off into the distant smoke of war, my voice barely a whisper. I have no hometown. The captain fell silent for a moment, clearly caught off guard by my answer, then pressed on. How could you have no hometown? I didn't just blow in from nowhere. Were you born? No. Sorry, it's still the same. See, sometimes it's too chaotic. Anyway, didn't just blow in from nowhere. Were you born in the northern Westerland or the eastern canyon? My heart flustered. I evaded the question vaguely. Neither, Captain. I took a deep breath, forced myself to look up, and managed a stiff smile. The battlefield is my hometown. I've wondered. No, sorry, still the same guy. I've wondered ever since I can remember. I've long forgotten what my birthplace was like, and I have no desire to go back. Sometimes, I always get confused who is speaking, who is not, because sometimes in the visual novels there's like a box here, okay, and it says the name, okay, so it's easier. Sometimes they even put like the PNG of the person that is speaking so that it's easier, But here it looks just like copy and paste. I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't want to point a finger. But anyway, it was not an entirely lie. I truly had no wish to return to that cold, Arless Westerland. Compared to the so-called hometown, this battlefield of bullets and shells was the only place I'd ever feel the sense of belonging. With the captain's recognition and my brother's in arm beside me, even facing constant mortal danger was better than being alone and bullied out in the Westerland. The captain looked at my tough profile, seeming to see through my secrecy, yet he asked no further questions. He simply clapped my shoulder firmly, his tone was softening grayly. It's alright. You don't have to go back if you don't want to. He nodded toward the fellow soldiers beside us. Look at us. We come from all corners of the land, and we're already like brothers. When the war ends, when the war ends, when the war ends, if you have nowhere to go, come back to the south to my hometown with me. We'll build a house together and live side by side, and you'll finally have a real home too. Oh, that's so sweet. I'll marry this. I'll marry this one. I'll marry this bro. Honestly. In that moment, gazing into the captain's sincere eyes, the fire burning in my heart blazed even brighter. Someone was truly willing to accept me, truly willing to give me a home at last. I nodded hard, a lump lodged in my throat, leaving me unable to speak. Tears welling up my eyes. From then on, I trained even harder. I didn't want to become the hero the captain spoke of. Let me see something. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I also launched this to hold fast to this hard-won sense of belonging, to keep the promise of having a home of my own. Lying in the bed of the night, I no longer only dreamed of respect and dignity. I would follow the captain's words, picturing the river and cottage in his southern hometown, imagining a peaceful life together with my comrades. The visual was so clear, so warm, it sustained as I charged through an artillery fire and tethered on the brink of death time and again. All for the day the war would end, and I could finally have a home that belonged only to me. Yet I never imagined that future so close I could almost touch it, would be shattered like little by little by the cannons of war. The frontline situation grew increasingly dire. War spread like wildfire, and our camp was gradually pushed right into the front lines. Enemy force kept severing our supply lines from the rear. Our initial confidence slowly faded into anxiety and unease. At first, we still received the supplies on schedule, even if only ration of dry food and water. But as time went on, supplies dwindled away. Waits for supplies stretched for 10 days to half a month, then to a full month. In the end, even a sip of clean water or an intact flatbread became a luxury. I watched my comrades fall one by one. Some were struck by enemy bullets, their uniforms soaked in blood. Oh, this hyperfixation of blood is crazy. Oh my god. Without even a last word to leave behind. Some perished in agony from starvation, cold, and defected wounds. Others, maimed by artillery blasts, lay crippled, wailing hopelessly in the trenches. The trenches roped off. Let's guess that together. Blood. Of course, guys. Mud and decaying corpses. The stench of iron, sulfur, and rot mingled into a suffocating haze. Artillery shells screamed down all around us, sending dirt and shrapnel flying. Not frying. This frying me. Cutting deep with every impact. Even explosions could claim the lives of more comrades forever. And my captain, once bold, spirited, and full of dreams and of heroism, withered little by little in the endless futile war, losing all his former spirit. I remember clearly how his eyes changed. Is this the captain? Honestly, I want to regret what I said previously. I can be the male wife if you want. I mean, you know what I mean. Once pure and clear, the crew clouded and lost, until at last they turned bloodshot, as if scorched red by war and despair. At first, he only drank a little each night in secret, numbing himself just to snatch a few minutes of sleep amid the endless cannon fire. Even jolted awake in a cold sweat by blasts in the night, he would force himself to stand and lead our defense. But soon he drank more and more, from night into day, hiding it no longer. A bottle never left his hand, his gaze vacant and unfocused. He could barely stand steady, let alone lead us into battle. I often saw him sitting alone in the corner of the trench, leaning against the cold wall, clutching a wine bottle tightly and gulping down cheap strong liquor mouthful after mouthful. His face held no expressions, only numbness and despair. The medals on his chest, once so brilliant, were now covered in dirt and grime, stripped of their former luster. This is the captain. I thought the captain was gonna be like someone else, someone less fine like this, but honestly now, yes, yes, stripped of their former luster, like just like his faded dreams. Sometimes he would mutter to himself while staring into the distance, numbling words I could not understand, repeating phrases like hero and hope. Are you tall? Am I tall? Yeah, I'm tall. I'm 1 meter and 88 centimeters, so it's like 6'12". Yeah. Yet not sooner than had he spoken, then he laughed bitterly and himself. His laughter filled with sorrow and despair, until tears streamed down his face. Once I saw him drinking and weeping bitterly beside his fallen comrades, like a helpless child, mumbling over and over, I'm sorry, I'll take you home, I'll take you home. Yet he himself no longer knew if any of us would ever make it home alive. What did I even read? Or who he could possibly lead back? I could hardly bear to watch. It's not a bear though. I'm joking, guys. Please don't leave the live stream. Yeah, it's really fine, indeed. The captain who had once given me hope and strength was being consumed little by little by alcohol, slowly wasting away to it. The glorious future of being a hero that he had spoken of was never meant to end like this. A peaceful life with a home that I had longed for should not vanish into the thin air. I began hiding his liquor and cigarette in the crevices of the trench walls, under abandoned ammo crates, anywhere he would never find it. Doesn't he have like a nice, a nose? Since a nice, he smell. He knows how to recognize the smells and other stuff, so technically it's easier for him to find the stuffs even if they're hidden. But anyway, I did this partly out of fear, living out lives in the end of a drunken captain would only lead us to a total annihilation. Annihilation? I don't know what that is, honestly, sorry. In this futile war, sooner or later. And partly because the captain was my only hope. The future he had described was my only reason to keep going. I refused to let that future vanish, to end up with nothing once more, cast aside as an outcast again. But I could not keep it hidden for long. One day, not long after, the captain's cravings for alcohol flared up, yet not a single bottle could be found. He flew into a rage at once, rummaging frenetically through the trench like a wild beast, running all the while. Where's my liquor? Who stole my drink? Hand it over. His eyes were bloodshot, his hair disheveled, yeah. His face caked in dirt and sweat. Nothing remained of that dignified captain he once was. The escalation was crazy, honestly. At last he found the liquor I'd hidden in the stone crevice. I realized immediately that I was the one who had hidden it. He stormed over at me, grabbed me by the collar, slammed me hard against the wall, and shouted furiously in my face. You fool! What do you know? You'll always be a simple-minded blockhead all your life. His voice was hoarse. Hoarse? Yeah. thick with the stench of alcohol and raw despair. I lied to you. Well, I've been lied to. Heroes, hope, it's all a lie. There are no winners in the war. We're all just pawns being used to. Cannon foddered, destined to die right here. The moment that the word left his mouth, he raised his hand, his fist, and swung it straight into my face. Yet his blow was weak and feeble, barely hurting me at all. Nothing like the brutal beatings I'd endured from the veteran when I first joined the army. I stood frozen in place, neither dodging nor resisting, letting him grip my collar, and let him wake blows on my face. But his words echoed endlessly in my mind. It was his words that truly struck me. No physical pain to my flesh, but a deep, harsh piercing straight into my head. Weak yet deadly. His words were like a blunt blade, slicing slowly into my heart, shattering the last flickers of hope I had inside. Staring at the despair and sorrow in the captain's eyes, I suddenly realized he suffered more deeply and felt more helpless than I could ever. His so-called dream of being a hero had already shattered long before mine could ever. As time passed, the situation grew even worse. The city was was reduced to ruins by enemy artillery fire. Tall buildings collapsed, houses burned to the ground, leaving nothing but broken walls, corpses, and bloodstains. Once bustling streets lay deathly silent. Only the whistle of and blast of artillery shells remained, along with faint, occasional cries of agony. Our comrades fell one after another, their numbers dwindling until only a handful of us remained, clinging on desperately, still hoping for reinforcements that never came. Just as despair settled over us, we finally received the orders to retreat and stand down, abandon the resistance, break through the enemy encirclement, and head for safe territory in the rear. Word came that key for breaking free lay near a hospital on the city's edge, where a hidden path bypassed the enemy blockade and led to safety. I talked the captain who had roused to a rare moment of sobriety, and set off while with our remaining comrades to break through. The journey was unbearably hard. The details have long blurred in my memory. I only remember the thick stench of. Oh my god, not this blood. No, I don't want to read that. The searing heat explosion washing over me, burning my sky. And my old annealed wound splitting open again. Let me guess, because there's blood. We moved cautiously along the way, evading enemy patrols and clashing with them time and again. Every fight would cost someone's their life. Every step forward was paid for in blood. The breakout went smoother than expected. Perhaps the enemy had let their guard down, or perhaps the ferocity buried within us flared up in desperation. We fought our way through one enemy line after another. At last, beyond the distant ruins, we spotted the hospital with launched for, though battered and broken by artillery. Its walls riddled with bullet holes, and half its roof collapsed. It shone like a ray of light, in the darkness it was. Our only hope, the exit that would lead us to the hell, out of this hell. The moment we laid eyes on the hospital, the captain, half drunk and dazed until then, seemed suddenly invigorated, sobering up at once. The bloodshot haze faded from his eyes, and a long-lost bright smile returned to his face, just as it had been once encouraged me. He hurried to the front of the group, stepping lightly, almost eager in the place. It had been so long since I'd seen the sober captain walk with such resolve across the battlefield, no longer drunk and numb, and despairing wreck. He had become once again the bold, fearless captain I knew. Several times, enemies, sentries lying in ambush, took silent aim at his head and pulled the trigger, bullets screaming straight toward him. Yet, relying on his sharp reflexes, he dodged and leaped out of the way each time, then raised his rifle in one swift motion. Taking down the hidden ambushers with pinpoint accuracy, his movements were clean, decisive, and without the slightest hesitation. It was a far cry from his dejected state these past days. "You fool, we're going home!" He charged forward while gazing back and shouted to me, his voice brimming with excitement and lunging. Why do I feel like something is gonna go wrong? We're leaving this hellish place. We'll never come back. He moved up almost gracefully, launching ambushes amid the cover of ruins, nimbly evading enemy fire and leading us to break through the blockade time and again. The sense of security of following closely behind the captain returned once more, only once. We followed him to charge into battle, marched toward the front lines, and chased the dream of being heroes. But this time, we followed him to flee for our lives, to escape this meaningless war, scurrying like strays, clinging to the fate of hope of survival. I stayed close behind him, rifle in hand, watching my surroundings warily. As a glimmer of hope rekindled in my heart, I truly believed that we could escape this place, make it home alive, and fulfill the captain's dream of returning to the southern hometown, to see the gentle spring breeze and peaceful life it's spoken of. Yet fate delivered its cruel blow after all. Just as we were about to break through the final blockade, reach the hospital, and escape this living hell, the captain, who had been leading the charge with his rifle raised, suddenly froze in his straits. Then he reached, his eyes filled with hesitation and tangled emotions. I followed his wow, we got a woman in this world apparently. Oh my god! I followed this case and saw a pregnant female jackal emerge from the ruins not far ahead. Like I was doubting that there were like women in this apocalyptic world, but apparently there are. Like she's a jackal from what I've read. Yeah, and she's pretty fine. I won't be lying. Anyway, she wore guerrilla attire soaked in blood, her tattered uniform torn in several places to reveal hideous wounds beneath. Blood kept streaming from her wounds, dripping onto the broken stones and pulling into dark crimson puddles. The pregnant jackal stared at us with a fierce, crazed glare, watching our every movement, every move like a cornered beast. Oh, she's evil? Then I don't like her. Sorry, I don't like her. Her arm raised high, clutching her grenade tightly in her hand. It's been already half pulled. That's crazy. One slight release of her grip, and the grenade would detonate instantly, burying all of us right here. The captain trembled slightly. He slowly lowered his rifle to aim at the ground, signaling he meant no harm and would not hurt her. He lowered his voice, speaking to the female jackal in a pleading tone. "We mean no harm. We only wish to leave this place. Let us pass, and we'll pretend none of this has ever happened. From now on, we go to our separate ways, and leave each other be." Peering past the captain, I clearly saw a line of wounded soldiers behind there. Some were maimed, twitching and watching our every move with desperate please in their eyes. Yeah, she's evil. She's evil. I don't know. She's really evil. I don't like her anymore. They let out agonized moans. Their faint wails like the haunting, background hum of this apocalyptic world. Others were fully wrapped in bandages, only their hollow eyes exposed, eyes just like ours, clinging to the will to live. Yet knowing full well that surviving was itself a cruel torment. At that moment, everything around us seemed to fall still. I held my breath, not daring to make a sound, staring intently at the jackal, with a slightest lapse in caution. My rifle was gripped tight in my hand. My knuckles mentioned, white from strain, ready to react to any sudden turn of event, even though my favorite one is Tails. But anyway, let me drink. Yeah, Tails is my favorite, even though I like the Knuckles and of course Shadow. Seeking Latina moments. I could feel the captain's street trembling slightly. His eyes filled with hesitation and inner conflict. He was a soldier with the instinct of to kill ingrained in his bones. Yet he was also a living, feeling soul. He will never bring himself to pull the trigger on a group of defenseless, gravely wounded people. All of us were fixated on the wounded, forgetting we stood on a battlefield, forgetting the enemy could strike at any moment, forgetting it might all be a trap. Just then, a storm of gunfire suddenly erupted from the surrounding ruins. Bang, bang, bang again! Shots rang out one after another, pouring down like a rainstorm. In that instant, I realized we'd walked right into a trap. The guerrillas had used the wounded as bait to distract us, planning to wipe us all in one fell swoop. The guerrillas had a long lane hidden among the ruins, waiting for us to fall into their snare and meet our end. At the very front, the captain reacted faster than anyone. Acting purely on instinct, he spun around in an instant, shielding all of us with his own body, standing directly in the path of the relentless hail of bullets. I watched helplessly as countless bullets tore through his flesh, ripping open countless bloody wounds across his chest and back. Blood gushing out instantly. A thick mist of blood. We get it, it's blood, okay? Oh my god. His body jolted violently, then slowly crumpled forward. Am I the only one that is noticing that there are too many details that are just useless? Oh my god. Captain. Oh my god. Anyway, maybe it's written by a human. Who knows? Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But I don't know. I don't know. But the artworks are human. At least that they're human. Even though I'm gonna tell you like something like there if I remember that. So that you guys see why I don't condone the use of AI, neither in this way. Captain, screamed at the top of my lungs, desperate to rush forward, to hold him up, to take those bullets in his place. But the relentless gunfire held me down, leaving me unable to move an inch. I could only stand by and watch him collapse slowly, his blood staining the broken stones beneath him. Watching the once gleaming medals on his chest soak in blood, fading into dullness. Yet more misfortune followed in quick succession. The moment that the captain fell, one of our comrades was also struck by a volley of bullets. His uniform soaked through with blood, of course. His body convulsed violently and fell. Oh my god, it's the same thing over and over again. You don't need to write that. I don't think you need to. In his final moments, he pulled the trigger insanely. A merciless bullet carrying his last despair and rage pierced straight through the jackal before him. The pregnant female jackal let out a shrill, agonized scream, then fell completely silent. That's crazy. Like, you know what? I don't like the fact that they made her pregnant. I know that unfortunately there were women. Women that went to war, and they were pregnant. Okay, but I don't like this vision, honestly. You know what I mean? I'm really sensitive about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? The grenade clutched in her hand, detonated instantly. A deafening explosion rang out. The blast wave crashed over us like a tidal wave, hurling every one of us backward violently. I was thrown to the ground by the blast, crashing hard onto the cold rubble. My old wounds split open once more, blood streaming down, yet only one thought remained in filled my mind. Save the captain, I had to save him. I struggled desperately to my feet, ignoring the searing pain in my body, ignoring the flying debris and flames around me, and launched toward the captain. I thought I could shield him with my own body, if only to keep him alive, carry him away from this battlefield and let him live. Yeah, for real. For real, he does want everybody. Yet I failed at the end. After the explosion, the surrounding lay in the utter ruin, leather exploded with a broken concrete. Pieces seared by rubber and scattered. Mangled corpses. The air reeked heavily on the oh my god. My god, I can't handle this gore anymore, honestly. The captain was almost unrecognizable from the burst. His body was charred black and fire, his skin fused silently to his uniform, let me guess, with blood, of course, and flesh and yada yada. His eyelids were sealed shut by burns. His body trembled faintly, as if his breath could fade away in any moment. I held him gently in my arms. His body was still scorching hot. His flesh peeled away at the slightest touch. My AirPods are dying. I heard that my AirPods are dying. No, no, I had to charge them. Never mind. Leaving my hands covered in blood and shattered skin. I could catch my faint, broken words escaping his trembling lips. Sorry. His voice so harsh, it was barely audible. Fall, this place. No hope. This war is meaningless. You still have a home. Go home. These were the captain's last words, the final gift he left me. They cut like a sharp blade, stripping away my spirit, and the last glimmering of hope in my heart. I stood and humbled for a long time, holding him silently. The man who had once given me hope and strength, only to be broken and crushed by war. Tears slipped silently down my cheeks, falling onto his charred face and blood-soaked uniform. Yet they could never wake him again. Never again would he clap him shoulder and say, "Fall, come on with me." I lost track of time. When I finally came to my sense, only silent flames remained, coldly curling around the shattered wreckage, flickering and burning, painting the entire ruins in an eerie crimson glow. The guerrillas, my comrades, the female jackal, and all the wounded that had been swallowed, without a trace, by the blast and fire. I was the only one left, sitting alone amid the devastation, holding the captain's cold, charred corpse, covered in blood and wounds. I was alone once more, just like in my childhood, cast out by my kin, leaning lonely against the poplar trees. Just like when I left the wasteland, wandering aimless all by myself. Now I was alone again, without hope, without ties, without a future. War took my comrades, took my captain, took the last longing in my heart, and took the future he had promised me. The shared resolve of fighting side by side in a war was gone without a trace. I could not tell whether the sense of belonging I'd left had been given by a war or taken away by it. The flames still burned, still devouring everything in my path. I sat there all alone, staring at the ruins and at the captain in my arms. I suddenly understood. The war was truly meaningless. Every war is meaningless, guys. And my own survival was nothing but an endless torment, a nightmare with no end. The day news came that the northern regime had surrounded, I was scavenging for food among the piles of the dead. Broken in body and spirit, I walked aimlessly toward places far from the war, as if I had never taken part of this war at all, as if I never existed, leaving behind nothing but the lingering echoes of wars scattered across the land. Thank you for watching and for following Charlotte. Beautiful name. I like it, Charlotte. Reminds me of a beautiful movie that I watched. That was really sad. Really sad. It was about this spider. I mean, I don't remember. I don't know the English title of that, but there's like this pig and this spider. They are friends. I don't know. It's so wholesome. I sometimes tend to watch it and I always cry. The meaning of my existence faded like smoldering embers left by war, dying away little by little. I'm playing visual novel. It's an post-apocalyptic visual novel. Touching my blunted saber, I suddenly had no idea where to go. The world before my eyes was stained all over the blood. Once fresh blood had influred, yeah, like a painted scroll. Not blood splattered across this ravaged land was nothing but the very embodiment of death. I once had home. My own voice echoed through the emptiness, as if I were speaking to someone else. Yet I grew to dislike it, choosing instead to wander the world alone. As I struggled endlessly to understand what it meant to live, I found myself heading back to the Westerland. Oh, I like lasagna. I like it. Not to pronounce lasagna. Lasagna. Lasagna, guys. Guys, lasagna. It's lasagna. Please pronounce it correctly, because otherwise you hurt an Italian, and this Italian is me. Not out of lunging, but because death lingered everywhere around me. Trapped in this hell-cold world, I could no longer feel alive at all. The village of my childhood out in the wasteland seemed to turn to face to me once more. Do you wanna have some homie? No, I don't do friends requests. Bearing the weight of mountains to tell me. This was a place far from strife. A place untouched by some death. Yet when I stood before the homeland of my old clan, I froze in shock. It too had been ravaged by the very same war I'd endured, reduced to charred ruins. The wind carried the lingering stench of gunpowder. The century-old poplar tree was reduced to half burned stump. Crater holes left by artillery shells dotted to the ground. It's going pretty well, thank you. Crater holes shelled by artillery shells dotted to the ground. A passing caravan told me the place had been turned into a battlefield by the armies. When the firefighter, what did I even read? When the fire broke out, no one cared about the clan boundaries. Where the shells fell, everything was reduced to nothing. I stood amid the ruins, lost and drowning in despair. The home I had once fled was gone forever. The death that surrounded me had already spread all the way to my homeland. Even if I longed, to revisit the melancholy of my childhood, war had taken it away. No, I don't like FIFA. I had fought alongside the army for so long. I fled my stifling hometown, believing war would bring me glory. Believing war would give me a new hope. Don't you watch soccer? I don't like soccer. Honestly. I called out to war. I summoned its brutal power. Yet in the end I realized all I had summoned was destruction. I destroyed my comrades. Destroyed my homelands. At last, I realized with sorrow that I no longer knew who I was. Was I once the child of the 5th week? Or merely that foolish simpleton? Yeah. In the end, war never stripped me of very far identity. I gazed upon my homeland, once dotted with striped stones, now reduced to ashes. I knew I myself had erased every trace of my own existence. My memories end right here. Finally. I should say finally. Because I don't know for how long. What was I reading? It literally gave me a stroke. Like, I don't know. We were reading since like 1 hour or something, I guess. Yeah. Oh my god. That was intense, honestly. But I know that there's gonna be a lot of reading. All of these are just to say, oh yeah, I love you, dear. I love you more, coyote. We go together. It's gonna end up like that. I know that. I close my eyes, feeling my life as slipping away little by little through my wounds. The pain in my back slowly goes numb, yet my memories grow even clearer. The outcast youth, shunned by his clan, the soldier bearing a rifle, myself standing before the ruins. All my life, I've been running away, yet unknowingly, I buried my own home with my own hands. I don't like any kind of sport, honestly. Yeah, I'm not a guy of sport. I'm more a nerd one, you can say. Yeah. And if I had to choose forcefully a sport, I'd say either tennis uh or bowling. But don't ask me, do you prefer that one other than the other one player? Because I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't ask me. I only know Sinner because he's Italian. I muttered to myself, "Hey, I really am still a fool, aren't I?" Da da da. Truly. Da da da. Oh dear. Want to say something? I think that he doesn't know your language. You're the nice guy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let be my eulogy. Inside the silent cover, the deer still makes no sound at all. You, you really are a strange one. My consciousness is swallowed up like a tide rushing in. Hmm, what are my activities? Just playing video games. Hmm, riding sometimes. Um, going around with my friends. And yeah, being silly, I guess. And being a streamer. um, what else? No. Yeah, and being a YouTuber too. Yeah. Before sinking into the total darkness, I sense a white glow emanating from from where the deer stands. I cannot tell if it's an illusion or a near-death vision, yet the light brights me an unnatural peace, as if it would melt all my blood-soaked memories into its warm radiance. The dripping of water echoes in the hollow cave, as if tolling the final death kneel, I don't know, for a soul forgotten in the world. Next, I don't know. We read so much. I read so much that I don't know. Oh my god, this chapter was the longest one that we played so far in this game. Let me actually quick save so that we don't lose. Yes, he is. I had a dream, a very long yet strangely unfamiliar dream. My consciousness felt submerged in this warm stream of summer, wayless, of boundless. My skin regained the sense of touch. I felt the wind, soft and gentle, carrying the fresh fragrance of plants and moist mist. Nothing like the gritty gales of the homeland Westerland, nor the dry gunpowder landed winds above the battlefield. I feel like the deer healed us. I don't know. It probably has like healing powers. That's why. Yeah, I sometimes smoke too. I know it's not good. Do you made it by yourself? No, I have my fellow artist that made it. My trusted artist. Yeah. I tried to look around. The sky was pale chan, clouds drifting lazily like crumbled cotton. Sunlight filtered through layers of leaves, casting dappled spots on the ground, as scattered stars. So you also have a VTuber? No, I don't. I'm not interested into a VTuber now. The distant forest loomed faintly through a mist, not withered and charred, but lush and vented. Its vast stretch of foliage rolled like flowing waves. Then white figures emerged little by little from the woods. At first, it was like a faint wisp of white, like moist or snow drifting among the tree shadows. Gradually, their outlines grew clear. They were in the deer clan. Their antlers glowed pale white, their pure white fur shining softly under the sun without a blemish. They did not flee in haste, nor lie in wary ambush. They merely stepped slowly out of the forest, light-footed, making no sound upon the soft earth. They let out soft cries toward the sky, their voices clear and melodious, like mountains springs water, without a trace of hostility. I stood rooted to the spot, motionless. Meanwhile, familiar figures gradually appeared beside me. I recognized them as my own wolf clan kin. They carried no guns, or no scars, and their eyes had no awareness of ferocity, only peace. Some sat on the grass, slowly carving and polishing rough wooden tools. Some leaned against the tree trunks, listening to the deer clan's calls with faint smiles on their lips. Before long, one of the wolf clans finished crafting a delicate small knife, then tossed it toward the deer clan in the woods. One deer caught it with a lift of its hoof, turned the knife or a few times, and bowed its head in thanks, then vanished back into the trees, leaving behind a few ripe wild fruits in place. The deer clan came like streams of light, emerging bit by bit and fading away amid the dappler's shade of leaves. My clansmen watched their coming and going with calm composure, an expression I had never seen before, the serenity untouched by war. I feel like we are like in heaven. I might be wrong, but I feel like it's like this. Hmm. I am. I don't know, honestly. Hmm. Might be. They cupped their ears to catch the deer clan's fading song on the wind, soft and melodious. Then hummed low, almost unconsciously, high and low tones intertwined, echoing layer upon layer through the woods. Plants swayed gently to the ballad, petals drifted down, sitting upon every shoulder, upon the wild fruits and wooden tools on the ground. The air was filled with peace, no anger, no war, no displacement, only quiet, warmth and calm in the moment. I reached out to grasp the scene before me. No, sorry, the scene before me. But my fingers passed straight through a wispy phantom. The figures began to blur like mist scattered by the wind, and the wolf clan smiles faded away. The song drifted farther and farther, as if coming from the depths of endless times. I tried to grasp something, yet could hold onto nothing. Only that warm feeling remained, branded deep within my unconsciousness. So tender, it made my heart tremble. So this is what it feels like to be dying. After a lifetime of wandering, it was not too bad, with such joy and comfortable and comfort. I let this gentle scenery draw my consciousness down into an unfathomable, abyss. Yet this descent did not last forever. A flash of white light suddenly pierced through my consciousness. The light stung with my eyes sharply. I raised my hand to shield myself from its glare, then forced my eyes wide open. As I opened my eyes, I quickly adjusted my vision, struggling to make out my surroundings. But no matter how hard I blinked, everything stayed blurred. The cave swayed unsteadily before my eyes in overlapping shadows. Only a single beam of sunlight streamed down from high above, falling straight onto my face. Am I already dead? I touched my face and body, dazed, talking in all my sense. The rough grit of sand beneath me. The feel of my own fur beneath my finger, and the dull lingering ash deep inside my body. Every sensation seemed to prove I was still alive in this world. I'm alive? I didn't die? I sat up excitedly, patting myself all over. I knew a tough body like mine couldn't go down so easily in some miserable ditch. Well, he literally like had a change of humor that should be somehow, I guess, studied. Like literally. Oh my god. Well, let me check something. Hold on a second, guys. Uh, uh, okay. Sorry. I jumped to my feet, spun in my circle, and carefully felt over every part of myself I could reach, until my eyes slowly grew used to the darkness of the underground cavern. That was where I spotted the deer sitting not far away. Its eyes were closed, its body emitting a faint white glow, sustained by the cavern's diffused light. It leaned against the rock wall, thus seeming to shy away from its form, forming thin mist all around, giving it an air of solemn divinity. Or divinity. Sorry, I don't know. I find myself staring it now. Then the deer's ears twitched slightly, and it slowly opened its eyes. Blue, gem-like orbs glimmering softly in the dim gloom. Overjoyed at having cheated death, I rushed over the moment It woke, fixing my muscles and saying, no, flexing, my muscles and saying, hey, look, I'm fine and alive. And it doesn't have a like scarf either. Like I don't understand. Like what happened? Let us know, please. The deer looked unimpressed and prepared to close its eyes again. And happy, I held my arm right in front of its face. I said, hey, don't doubt it. Look at my arm. Even the bullet wounds are gone. All gone. The deer twitched his ears again. A flicker of annoyance crossed its face. He murmured softly, "You're truly noisy." Hearing the deer speak for the first time filled me with even more delight. Reborn and elated, I almost wanted to grab the little deer and dance with it. Just as I reached out to grab it, the deer opened its eyes once more. Its mild impatience finally turned into anger. Be quiet, or I will not lean it with you. Uh, what's the thumbnail? Oh, there are even worse. Don't worry. Sorry. I froze right where I stood, stunned by a sharp rebuke. I dozed. No, dozed, yeah. By the sudden cold reception, my joy faded into shock, then quickly turned to anger. What a spoiled sport, with no sense of social grace at all. Not to mention that my brothers were wiped out indirectly because of him. Last night I nearly died protecting him, and yet this is how he repays me. Even setting all that aside, I am the fearsome bandit lord of the northern desert. Since when have I been treated with such disdain? Let alone, I think that there should be like a question mark, but anyway. Let alone being talked down to by such a tiny deer. My temper flared instantly as I thought this through. Oh my god, already? Like, he's not doing anything wrong. Like, he even healed you. Bro, what the fuck? I grabbed the deer by the collar and leaned my face close. What makes you so cocky, you little runt? I prepared to teach him the same lesson I gave my underlings. Gripping his collar tight, I balled my fist, ready to strike his face. But the moment I lifted my hand, zap. I don't know. A scorching numbing sensation shot straight into my body, accompanied by the stench of burning. Was that like like a something like that? I don't know. I clearly been struck by some strange power. I let go in the deer pain, of the deer in pain. I leaped several meters away at once, putting distance between us. I saw guard in a battle stance, staring wearily at him while racing to figure out how I'd been attacked. A strange numbness felt exactly like an electric current. What puzzled me was that such attack usually comes from outside the body, yet this sensation had surged from deep inside me. And the burnt smell was oddly familiar, like my own fur. I kept my eyes locked firmly at the deer. With my other hand, I felt over my fur, and sure enough, much of it had been singed black. I rolled angry at the deer. Hey, what did you just do to me? That deer stood up calmly, straightening his collar that I tugged. Asked you? I don't know what kind of stuffs they are using, what kind of words they are using, honestly. He said down unhurriedly, I'm thirsty. Go fetch me some water. I hear running water in the cave to the right. His arrogant tone only stoked my fury. I snapped impatiently. You weird creature, you have no weapon. So how exactly did you attack me just now? Don't you understand that he's a magical creature or something? Still feels into me my gaze. The deer went on. You could use some water to cool your temper too. I'd only planned to teach him a small lesson for his rudeness at first, but those words pushed me over the edge of entirely. My fury bristled all over my body. I tensed my legs and lunged straight for him. This time I told nothing back and teared the hill-mannered brute apart. Yet, as expected, the moment I larped on the ground. No, larped? What did I even say? Leaped off the ground. A strange attack struck once again. The electric shock just sent me crashing heavily down to the ground once again. This time, the shock left me dizzy and dazed. I lay sprawled on the ground, unable to move at all, as the deer southerned slowly over. He knelt down and tapped my nose gently with his fingertip, which carried a cool scent of wild herbs. You cannot harm me now, Mr. Coyote. His tone turned slightly more polite. His soft white fur rippling gently as he spoke nearly before my eyes. Oh, this is the deer, I believe, yeah. Let me put it in words, preparing it like you can understand. You were brought back from the dead by my power. I bestowed a fragment of my essence upon you. A fragment is able to heal your body. He paused for a moment, fell into a brief thought, then went on and added, therefore, any thought you harbor of harming me will trigger that fragment inside of you to run amok. For now, you have no choice but to obey me. In simpler terms, for a bird like you, you're effectively my slave now. His cold verdict left my mind suddenly blank. The shock was no less overwhelming than that electric surge inside me. I glared at him, grinding in my teeth. You tyrant! You dear tyrant! The deer smiled faintly. This time, the first time I've ever seen him do so. I would admit, he carries an air of sacredness. Yet that smile infuriated me to no end. I almost wanted to bite his head off. The numbness... No, wait. The numbness will fade soon enough. I shall leave the task of fetching me water to you, Mr. Ash. With that, he walked slowly back to his former spot and closed his eyes. Just as he said, after roughly 3 minutes, the numbness of my body faded away. I stood up, stretched my waist, and rolled my wrist. I showed the deer an angry glare, sped in his direction, then headed toward the cave he had pointed out. I planned to flee right away, yet after running only a short distance, I was overcome with a confusion. I had nowhere to run to. I thought of my homeland, of my old captain. I'm the only one left in the battle crew. The only thing left I know is that keeping the deer on my side by my side makes Geary wary for me. What's more, I've already offended Gary. If I show my face in public, it won't be long before I join my brothers in afterlife. The more I thought, the more I thought, Xavier, my steps grew. The steps grew. Sorry. I plopped down to the ground, eyes stinging with despair, forcing myself not to shed tears. If my brothers saw me looking so pathetic, I'd never be able to hold my heads up as their leader even in the afterlife. I slammed my fist on the ground and berated myself. What a pathetic mess I am. I just got back from the death. I should be happy. Worst comes to worst. I just die again alongside with this weird deer. What have I got to fear? I'm a wolf who's already faced death. I sniffled. I checked my wounds again. All the fatal injuries from yesterday were truly gone, leaving only a faint mark where the bullets had pierced my chest. I always had a strong natural recovery ability, but those fatal wounds from the last night could never heal completely in just one night. Besides that, I also noticed Traces of silvery liquid lingering faintly in the fur around my wounds. I dabbed a bit with my fingers, smelled it. It didn't look like blood, yet the scent was unmistakably that of it. I frowned in thought, vaguely sensing that the deer looked somehow different from when I first met him. Yet I couldn't figure out why. Perhaps it was another of these strange deer's sorceries. Following his directions, I indeed found a spring into the corner. Sorry. I kept the water carefully in my paws and walked steadily back. With nowhere else to go, I might as well test this strange deer's true strength first. Its bizarre moves are truly unbeatable to me. But if I obey and keep him pleased for now, I might avoid more suffering. Maybe he really did bring me back to life, like he said. If I run into danger again, he might revive me once more. This thought put my mind at ease. In this broken, ruined world, you have to be flexible if you want to survive. Now, I guess I have to learn a thing or two about tact from the late good. No, my AirPods died. Hold on, I have a backup. Let me see. Okay, let me see if it's working. Yeah, sorry guys. Sometimes my AirPods just die during the live streams, and so I have to switch to another pair of headphones. But I don't use this kind of headphones because they're too much invasive for me. But anyway, I calmed my mood, held the water once more, and walked over to the deer. Sorry. I softened my voice as much as I could and called out for him to him. Lord dear, here's the water you asked for. He looked clearly surprised upon hearing my voice, then opened his eyes and stared at me in disbelief. I couldn't quite bring myself to meet his gaze directly. Those sapphire-like eyes seemed. First of all, they're sapphire, now they're blue. I know that it's the same, like, but bro, seemed able to see through all my crooked schemes, making me feel uneasy and guilty. Besides, his eyes were breathtakingly beautiful. Staring into them too long would strangely calm my heart, a tranquility I couldn't control. Finally, after like what 4 hours of gameplay, there's like a slide of. Anyway, I told you. I know it. It's the deer. Sorry. I have to be more beachy, so something like it. I thought it left already. The deer said calmly beside me. How could I? You saved my life after all. I forced a flattering smile. Even if I were the most ungrateful person alive, I'd still fetch water for my savior. Even I cringed at my own sickening, flattering words. What was that transition? Oh, anyway, before I could finish, finally I can use my soundboard after like sadness and shit like that. I can use my soundboard now. Like, is the deer doing something like? Yeah, I think he is. Let me drink. That's crazy. The position is crazy itself. Like, why don't you bring like a what's it called? A cup or like something. Before I could finish speaking, the deer leaned closer to my water-filled paws. That's crazy. I lowered his head gently, rested over in my palms. I larped always. Why do I confuse LARP? Probably because I'm getting distracted. Lapped softly at the spring water with his tongue. It's crazy. He drank in a steady rhythm, sending in tiny ripples, spreading across the water in my palms. I feel like the deer is enjoying it. His tongue was soft and cool, so you are also. Like a feather brushing lightly over my palm, leaving a tangly itch that spread all the way up to my arm. I found myself staring dumbfounded at the way he drank. This is the gayest thing that I've seen in this game so far, honestly. Somehow, watching him like this, mm, what made you think? My then selfish scheme made me fidget uncontrollably, as I never wanted him to see me as the rotten villain I am. I watched him lap until my palms were nearly dry, thinking he must have been terribly thirsty. I said with concern, "Is there not enough? I'll go fetch some more right away." "Oh, okay." He shook his head. "That's enough, thank you. About earlier." He paused, speaking hesitantly. "When I said you were my slave, I didn't mean it. You're free to leave if you wish." Panic stared at me the moment I heard that. After all, this deer with these strange powers in is my last resilience. No, sorry, reliance. Okay. If I leave him and run alone, my fate will be sealed. It will be disastrous if you really throw me away. I quickly scrambled to think of flattering words, all while meeting the deer's gaze. He stared straight into my eyes, scattering all my thoughts. I stammered, unable to utter a single word. In my urgency, I set my paw lightly on his slender shoulder. "Don't shy my way. I I don't mind being your follow. No, no, your slave, your slave." I bet my desperate wish. Then suddenly thought of something and added, "That officer outside, Geary, isn't he trying to capture you? He wanted to me that too. No, wait, still the thing. He wanted me that too. We stand or fall together. If we split up and he catches us earlier and catches either of us, the other won't escape. We have to stick together, lie down to watch each other's backs." My anxious words seemed to reach him. He lowered his head and fell into deep thought. He looked back at me. "Hmm, hmm, but can I truly trust you? You left that officer trapped in my bayou. That eyeless giant white bird is bayou. Half of my very being." It was then I fully realized what I had done at the very start. I hadn't understood their bond back then, but I was the one who brought down the strange bird Bayou. I feel like Bayou is the quote unquote dragon that we were talking about at the beginning of this visual novel. And after watching Gary tear through Flash and the drag shoe, sorry, out of from inside it, I knew the act was brutal and unforgivable. It only made sense that Shu would hesitate to travel alongside the one responsible for his suffering. I hung my head in disappointment and pulled my paw away from his shoulder. "Still, it is true that I have nowhere else to go." No, no, wait. We're not us, sorry. So it's still, is it true? It is true that I have nowhere else to go. The deer's voice rang out. again, and I looked up with renewed hope. He went on. I never planned to save you, but I cannot stand being in another step. You are the wolf who led to ruin me to my ruin. Yet you also saved me last night. I stayed long before paying my own price to heal you. So can I trust you one more time? His clear blue eyes looked into me as he bound by an an unspoken oath. I nodded firmly. The deer smiled faintly once more, glowing with a soft white light. He rose to his feet and said, "My name is True, Mr. Ash. Miss no, Mr. Ash. Let us look one another for now on. After one another for now on." It was the gentlest smile I have ever seen. Scratching my head at his soft expression, I mumbled quietly, "Oh, we are blushing." I haven't noticed that. I mumbled quietly, "Yeah, alright." Wow. Okay. I feel like, guys, I'm gonna be saving. Um, and we're gonna come back to the game. Hopefully that it's the last time, the last episode, next live stream. That is gonna be, I think, tomorrow? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. Yeah. Though I don't know if this game or something else. Because Genshin I already did everything today. I explored the 100% everything, so it no sense to stream Genshin. Maybe we can stream something easier like Date Everything, because it's been a while since we streamed Date Everything. I don't know, let me know that on my Discord server eventually. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want. And as always, guys, oh, and also follow me on Blue Sky. The username is literally the same as everything, everywhere, except without the 0 and the 3. So it's peanuts on top of me. You can see the username. And as always, guys, thank you so much for staying here and for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Take care, guys. Bye.